Hi everyone, it's Raquel Bowman here today, and I'm creating a layout with one of the new collections by Coco Vanilla Studio called Hello Sunshine. This collection is, being that we're in summer in Australia, it's a nice summer fun theme, and it's full of really bright, vibrant colours, and I'm really loving it. This page was a really fun page to create. So what I've chosen to document is a photo of my kids one day that I snapped when we had the bubble machine out, and they adore them. Our puppy adores bubbles as well, but the kids do it too. So I've taken my Silhouette software and I've cut out the word bubble. So I set it up on the software to cut on that diagonal, and my idea was that I'd use that as the base of my page. I'd back each of the letters with some pattern paper, and then I would embellish and have my photo on that diagonal. So I normally will scatter embellishments in a diagonal, but I won't necessarily work a whole layout tilted on a diagonal. So this is sort of a new thing for me. But I thought I'd give it a go. So what I've chosen is, I was finding it really hard to find a paper to back those letters with that stood out enough and that kept that bright look that I wanted to have on the page. So I did want sort of a variety of colours to be present on this page, especially considering the collection has it. You could create with this collection some more sort of muted pages, and I will aim to do that with some of the other papers, but for this one I wanted to keep it sort of bright, fresh and fun. So I've chosen to use the sort of sunray yellow paper behind some of the letters, and then I was tossing up between the sort of Dymo look bright paper. You can see, oh my gosh, I went through it so many times trying to figure out what to do. Felt like that was a bit too busy, the paper with all of the words on it. I do want to feature that on the page, and it does become a feature, but it just wasn't working behind those letters. Now I have a new Cameo mat, which is why my paper has curled so much, because the new mats are super sticky. So when you peel it, because it sticks so well, when you peel off your paper it will curl it because it's so sticky. So that's what's happened to my paper there. But what I do shortly is I will pop sort of some paper at the top and the bottom, and you'll see that it sort of unwarps itself a little bit. So I've decided on the reverse side of that word paper, and it's just got some sort of blue anchors on it, and I didn't necessarily use it for the anchors. I used it more for the color blue. So I'm just adhering those on now, and instead of trying to cut them perfectly to size, I'd cut them in, I think it was a maybe 2.5 inch strip of both of those papers, and then I've just cut it, no, it wasn't 2, it must have been 4, and I've cut it into 2-inch pieces, and I knew that the letters weren't any bigger than that, so that's how I've worked it out. And now what I'm doing is, I wanted to have a diagonal, the same sort of diagonal line that the word bubble and the photo is running on. I wanted the pattern paper that was going to go along the top and the bottom to have. So I've used that word paper and I've cut it on that same diagonal, and then I've cut a piece for the bottom as well. And I feel like that just sort of brings your attention back into the photo. So your eyes should be drawn back up and into the photo, hopefully. We'll see. And now what I'm doing is just adhering that on, and I'm cutting that excess off. Did you spy my beautiful gold scissors? If anyone's wanting any, I'm sure I asked Olga from Sassy Scrappers to order those in for me, as I knew that American Crafts did stock them, and they are American Crafts. They're from the DIY shop collection or range, if anyone was wondering. And Olga got them in for me as a special order, so I'm sure that if you asked her, she would do that for you. I can't remember how much they cost, but to be honest, I wasn't really caring because they were gold and I just wanted them, and they're pretty and they're scissors, so what more can you ask for? I'm working now anyway on my title, and I wanted it to be, say, Bubble Fun or Bubble Time or something with bubble, clearly, because bubble is blazed across my page right now. And the letters where I placed them were getting a little bit lost, so I've decided to leave that and work on a map behind my photo. At first I thought, I'll use some of these scraps of paper because I really wanted that brightness still behind the photo. But I've decided to use this word paper, but I've used it so that you can't see any of the words. So it just looks like sort of a colour block of paper, and it's got all the colours obviously within the paper that I wanted to feature, and it doesn't have any of those words that will detract from that photo. I'm also matting it on some plain vellum. And then I'm also going to add one of my favourite doilies. They're Studio Calico doilies, and I get lots of questions about those. They're not available just to the regular retailers. You need to actually order them from Studio Calico. They come in packs of 10, and I think that you can only order, say, 10 packs at once, which is a lot of doilies, but normally that's the way that I do it. So I'll order... they're only $1 for a pack of 10 or something, US dollars, and then I think it's around maybe $7 to $10 postage. So yeah, I'll normally order them in bulk and get them that way, and I use them on nearly every page, so I'm glad to have a nice stash of them. I'm now working on my embellishing, so my desk is really messy right now, and I apologise, but that's normally how I will work, is sort of with everything around me that I want to either grab or think I might use. And I've grabbed some of the the die cut ephemera that either have that orange or yellow or the blue in them. So I've got a little sort of half citrus lemon piece and a word that says yay, and a little tab that says happy days, a cloud and a flower. So they're arranged in that top right corner. And then I've done down the bottom, I've ended up working on my title again, and I decided that because I felt like it wasn't, if I just sat time at the bottom, it wasn't sort of ground, felt like it just wasn't sitting. It was sort of sitting solitary on the layout, even though it wasn't. That's how I felt it looks. So I've cut some vellum into a banner shape. I've popped the word time on top of that, and then I've stitched through it. And I feel like that just makes it work better. Then I've also popped and adhered behind that one of the ephemera clouds and a phrase that says so much fun, and I've put that up on some foam, and you'll see that now I'll also pop my photo up on some foam as well. So I've sort of got my page and then that one layer of dimension on this page, and I'm using the top of the sort of pattern paper strip and the top of the text to try and get that sort of on that diagonal the same. So I didn't want it all to be wonky on that diagonal. I hope that makes sense. I know what I'm trying to say. I just don't know if I'm saying it or explaining it in the right way. But I wanted all of those diagonal pieces to be parallel. I think I would say that. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Hopefully that makes sense to you. So I'm adding on these final embellishments, or adhering them on. I do add, and I don't think I do this on camera, I do add some stitching to the top and bottom strips, those word papers, pattern paper strips. I add a little staple to that Happy Days as well, just to give it that little bit of texture. And I also add the date, just the month and year on a date stamp, and I pop that down the bottom. I was trying to work out there whether I needed to add anything to the bottom right of the photo, but I felt like your eyes should sort of flow from that top cluster to that bottom cluster near where the remaining part of the title is, so I've actually just left it. And there what I'm doing is, I thought, as soon as I saw this pattern paper, I knew that it would be super cool to, or cute, to be able to cut it out. You're sort of getting some extra die cut or ephemera pieces by doing that. So I cut out one that said fun times and one that said memories. I end up only using the one of them. And I pulled out the puffy stickers to use, but I felt like they didn't work. And then I've pulled out these, and I love them, these wood buttons. They did have a foam piece on the back, but I felt like that was too much dimension for me, so I've taken that off and just adhered it with glue. And then to finish the page, and I think I might even do part of this off camera, I use some of the enamel dots, which I'm using now. They're actually shapes now, so there's some stars and some hearts, some circles. I think that's all. And I'll also add some Heidi Colour Shine in Butter, which is a mini bottle that I got from Spotlight. So here's my close-up images. I hope you've liked this today. You can get this collection at cocovanilla.com.au or check your local, see if they stock it, and I'll be back soon with some more layouts and videos. Thanks everyone. Bye.